cafe anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to the podcast that has been on the internet now for what? Almost 10 years.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
That's the name of the show. I used to call it The Last Place on Earth, and then I thought, what the heck does that mean? It doesn't have any mirth in the title. It needs some mirth. So I came up with this name, and I hope you like it, even though the starting song is lame. But we learned a lot from this song so far, haven't we?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
We've learned that lyrics are important, especially with a show
Mike's
that's called
Daily
Mike's Daily Podcast. Why does he sing at the beginning of every show? I don't get it. It makes no sense. Well, let me just say that we're going to maybe have a little bit of rain. And I talked to somebody up in Seattle yesterday who runs a radio group up there, and he said, yeah, it's starting to rain again in Seattle. And I go, what, doesn't it always rain in Seattle? And he hung up the phone. And I found out that you never say that to somebody in Seattle because they don't like that. Especially if you're talking to Ann Wilson from Heart, because she lives up in Seattle, I think. And there's Heart, crazy on you, and all I want to do is make love to you. And what about love? Alone, all those great songs. They were up in Seattle. Interesting fact about Ann Wilson is that she did not like the trajectory that her career took. She did not like, well, for one thing, you saw she got pretty heavy. And there was that awful whale joke that used to circulate amongst idiot white men in radio. I being one of them, but I don't think I ever told the joke. I had the joke told to me, but reciting that joke seemed very infantile, so I said no. I'm immature. But Ann Wilson, and I think Ann Wilson's gotten a gastric bypass or something. Whatever she's doing, she's kept the weight down, so.
And here's today's podcast picture.
The point being, the podcast picture is of Heart. No, it's not. But they were, at the end of the 90s, or at the beginning of the 90s, they were pretty much burnt out with the corporate rock machine that they had become. And they sort of disappeared. They turned into a band called Love Mongers, and they did their own thing. But that's what I learned today. The podcast picture today is some beautiful, what do they call these flowers? I took this today. I was walking around. I was over in Pleasanton. Oh, Basil. I took Basil to Pleasanton a couple of times. Quite a few times. John Madden waved to us. Remember that, Basil, when we walked across that main street in downtown Pleasanton, and John Madden waved to us? It was very nice. He was very impressed by Basil. Great dog, the late great Basil the boxer. So that's where, go see the picture, MikesDailyPodcast.com, of pretty flowers that are blooming in California despite the rain. All right. How do you prevent injuries and recover from bad work from home habits? Have you been working from home? Are you jealous of people who work from home? Do you laugh? Are you about to laugh at what I'm telling you, that people that work from home develop work from home injuries? Yes. Working all day at home may lead you to be hunched over. And in those makeshift workstations that you make at home, because you're not at an office where they have the ergodynamically designed places to sit down, and you're doing it from home, you're making it your own, right? You makeshift it. Don't you hate it when people say right? Right to you? I don't like it. So I just caught myself doing it. Oh, over the weekend, I was listening to a talk show, and the guy hosts a talk show. He's not that experienced at hosting talk shows, and he's interviewing somebody, and the whole interview he's doing this. And if you do that a couple of times, it's very annoying. You hear it, and all you hear is that. Just like somebody that goes, a lot. All you hear is the crutch that they're using. Oh, wow. That was fun to listen to. And I want to tell the guy, because I know the guy, I want to tell him you're doing that on the air. When you're doing the interview, as the guy, your guest is talking, you're going, and it stands out, and it sounds ridiculous. Come up with other agreement phrases. I see. Interesting. Yes. Indeed. Wirklich. Genau. Auf jeden Fall. What's the... Shoot. I can't think of it. I can't think of the Spanish equivalent. Dang. No, I can't think of it. Sorry. Where's my lovely lady friend? She showed up on the last show. You should listen to it. She schooled me on some things. All right, so yeah, if you are working from home, be careful about that. Ooh, an assistant professor at Huntingdon College in Montgomery, Alabama. That's interesting because I lived in Huntsville, Alabama, and this is Huntingdon College. And okay, that's only interesting to me. This Blake Bell from this college was teaching from home. And said, I'm pretty active, but the more I worked from an old computer chair, the worse the pain in my lower back got. Oh, that's right. You know what? I had a bad computer chair that I got from IKEA almost 10 years ago. And the COVID started, and I felt like a COVIDiot at home, just staying at home, sheltering in place from the COVID, from the Rona. I hate when they call it that. And then I'm staying, and I'm in this horrible chair. I'm working from home in this horrible chair from IKEA. And it's falling apart, and I've had it for 10 years. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. But then I lucked out because I went back to work somewhere, what was it, in the summer? Late summer, we got to work from work again. Everything looked rosy and wonderful. And one day I'm leaving work and there's an office closing up in the building that I'm in. There's a company that has decided to work from home, interestingly enough. So they were getting rid of all their furniture. And you know those situations where you walk by and you go, I'm not a dumpster diver. But then you go, wow, I think I'm going to dumpster dive. And I got a stapler. I got a tape dispenser, and I got a chair, but not a fancy schmancy chair. It's not the one that has armrests, but I don't want armrests. I get in and out of my chairs. You know, I try not to sit in it all day, but it does have a great backrest. I got it for free, and it had hardly been used. It didn't have any weird things on the seats. You know, those weird, you're like, I don't know what that is on the seat of that chair, and I don't want to know. So I lucked out there. Hey, hopefully that's the one good thing about a lot of offices closing up. Of course, you've got to be there at the right day, the right time, and I happen to be there. A guy that I worked with, actually, he recently just got let go, sadly. A guy that I used to work with, he got himself a nice chair with the armrests. He went in because he saw me doing it. He goes, where'd you get that? I go, over there. He went over there and he goes, hey, you got any chairs better than the one that guy just walked away with? And they give him this super nice CEO type chair. Oh, well, now he's got it at his home office as he looks for a job. That was not appropriate. Costco member. Yes, I got this from the Costco connection. Oh, we Blake Ball. What about Blake Ball? I'm pretty active. Oh, the worst the pain in my lower back got. Yeah, because he had the bad chair. And then Costco member Danny Arrigo struggled with shoulder pain all summer thanks to repetitive mouse and keyboard use and straining in the wrong position. It was so bad that I couldn't sleep. It would spread to my neck and trigger migraines. Yikes. I didn't think much about the transition to working from home. I'm very short, and desks are often too high for my forearms to rest low enough. And adjusting my chair means my feet don't touch the ground. So it's tough to get the right setup. Yikes. Well, I guess what I'm saying is that working from home when you work can be a chore, and to keep an eye on these things. So don't hunch forward in your chair, sit back but close enough to comfortably reach your keyboard or mouse. This is from the person who is the creator of Humanus Ergonomics. Okay? Alan Hedges' his name. He says, keep your feet flat on the floor. Dangling your feet restricts blood flow. Adjust chair height or prop your feet on a footrest. Rest your digits. Take a typing break by using voice recognition apps. Don't work in bed. Sitting cross-legged or extended with a laptop propped up on your legs will cause you to hunch over, putting strain on your back. And evaluate your workstation and posture. Proper posture. You can also prevent damage from remote workplace setups by improving your posture. Get someone to photograph you working. That's exciting. Is that a podcast picture? Actually, that is the podcast video that I sometimes post. MikesDailyPodcast.com usually shows me you'll see me in my workplace position, but that includes a self-diagnosis checklist. Tipping your head down to look at a laptop affects the upper back muscles around the shoulders, causing muscle pain or headaches. It can also restrict your breathing. One Costco member named Karen Litzy, a doctor of physical therapy in New York City, suggests raising your laptop with books so the middle part of the screen is at eye level. Keep your external keyboard close enough so your elbows can stay at a 90-degree angle. And break up your day so you're never in the same position for long. That's a great... Oh, yeah, break up your day so you're not locked in one position all day. Move around the house. Sit outside. Drink some tea. Use an exfoliant. No, it doesn't say that here. And then shut down and get up. Litzy, who I mentioned earlier, had noticed patients working more intensively from home than at the office, interestingly. Everyone has back-to-back video conferencing meetings, but we're not getting up and moving. She suggests setting a prompt for every 40 minutes to get up, stretch, change locations, or move around. Put on a headset or earbuds and walk outside or around your house during phone calls. And if you must be on screen during a meeting, vary your movement by sliding to the edge of one side of your chair, dropping one leg down and back to stretch the front of your leg. This takes some load off the lower back and the sacrum, and nobody will even know what you're doing. Nobody knows what I'm doing anyway. What am I doing now? Oh, I'm outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. The last show was called Consistency. And we have been pretty consistent with doing a podcast. At least we did a podcast 2 days in a row. That's good news. On episode 2197, here at the last place on earth, we're outside, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Cafe anyway. Look who's outside right now.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. Wow, that's a lot of interesting stuff you just said there, Mike Matthews.
Yes, thank you to Costco for... Excuse me, I'm bowling.
Mike Matthews, why are you bowling outside?
Well, that's what Rumpelstiltskin did. Or was it the guys that were up in the sky that were bowling that caused the thunder that... You look lost, Chely.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's why you look lost. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer, Mike. Rumpelstiltskin was the guy that slept like for 2,000 years or something like that. Yes. Kind of like Buck Rogers, Gil Gerard. And he was frozen in that spaceship. Then he got unfrozen and he hung out with Aaron Gray. Fun times. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Chime in about anything we chatted about today. 336MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast tries to be. Why are added sugars now listed on the nutrition facts label? That's my question to ask you as we leave. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans recommends limiting calories from added sugars to less than 10% of total calories per day. For example, if you consume a 2,000 calorie daily diet, that would be 200 calories or 50 grams of added sugar per day. Now I'm lost. Are you lost? All this is saying, and I got this from the FDA, consuming too much added sugar can make it difficult to meet nutrient needs while staying within calorie limits. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is including added sugars on the nutrition facts label so that you can make informed choices. Ah, okay. So all those labels you see in the supermarket keep an eye out for added sugars. And don't buy the stuff with added sugars. Seriously. There's sugar in everything. Naturally, I love smoothies, but there's all that added sugar in it. We were talking about that last show. I mean, there's already the sugar in the fruit, is what I'm saying. All right, now I'm trying to turn into a nutritionist, and I can't even say the name right. Nutritionistic. Take us out. Hey, Frank.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!